7 General Teaching Principles. The following is a summary of teaching and learning principles from the science of learning, which draws from cognitive psychology, neuroscience, and education to better understand the processes involved in learning. We have added more recent research to support and expand on Ambrose et al.'s 7 learning principles. Learning principle number 1. Students' prior knowledge can help or hinder learning. When students can connect new information with knowledge and beliefs that they had previously, they will remember more and learn more quickly. An example of this is if you are told information about someone. If that information is about Laura, and you know Laura, the information will be easier to remember. If the information is about someone you have never met and have never heard of, you might forget the new information. The same principle works whether we are talking about people or things. Therefore, we as teachers should always connect new concepts with something the students already know. This is called activating prior knowledge. A common example of this in ESL teaching is to discuss a topic with the class before they watch a video about that topic. To use the terminology that we saw in Module 1, making these connections happens by activating some of the schemata that students have. The other side to principle number 1 is that sometimes new learning conflicts with knowledge or beliefs that the learner already has. The learner's previous understanding either needs to be corrected or widened. An example of this would be if you change your password for an account but continue to accidentally type the old password. Old learning can get in the way of new learning. Teachers can help students overcome learning conflicts by calling the student's attention to the source of their confusion. Learning principle number 2. How students organize knowledge influences how they learn and apply what they know. Knowledge organization has to do with how a person relates ideas to each other. For example, we relate verb tenses to timelines and to each other, and we divide up the animal kingdom into well-defined categories. The more interrelationships among concepts, and the stronger and clearer those relationships, the better a learner's understanding and ability to apply the concepts to new problems and new situations. Thus, in addition to relating new knowledge to previous knowledge, principle number 1, teachers should explicitly address how concepts relate to other concepts and the situations in which these concepts can be applied. Learning principle number 3. Students' motivation determines, directs, and sustains what they do to learn. Without motivation, learning does not move forward. The stronger the motivation, the more sustained effort and learning we will see. There are many kinds and sources of motivation. A teacher needs to know their students to tap effectively into their motivations. This includes relating examples in class to topics, art forms, people, and events that are of interest and relevant to students. A teacher should explicitly guide students in recognizing how their daily classroom achievements build toward their future personal interests and career goals. Learning principle number 4. To develop mastery, students must acquire component skills, practice integrating them, and know when to apply what they have learned. Many tasks require the use of multiple skills. In order to reach the stage of mastery, learners need to practice different component skills one at a time. Mastery is reached by each sub-skill being given its due practice. For this reason, one practices sets of long division first before moving on to advanced finance. Basketball players practice dribbling, piano players practice scales, and language learners practice verb conjugations. The principle of learning component skills is related to the concept of cognitive load. When a concept is new, it needs to be the focus of one's exploration. Trying to understand too many new concepts together all at once can lead to cognitive overload, which results in confusion, and does not result in learning. Learning principle number 5. Goal-directed practice, coupled with targeted feedback, enhances the quality of students' learning. This principle advises us teachers in 2 specific areas. 1, we need to be able to communicate to students what their objectives and goals should be. And 2, we should provide learners with targeted feedback. This means not to simply give students the correct answer when they make a mistake, but to guide them on the steps to arriving at the correct answer themselves with that guidance. It's also helpful for students to try to understand why the mistake was made. In this way, students not only learn more, but they also develop skills for future learning, which leads logically to the next learning principle. Learning principle number 6. To become self-directed learners, students must learn to assess the demands of the task, evaluate their own knowledge and skills, plan their approach, monitor their progress, and adjust their strategies as needed. Learners must be able to monitor not just the correctness of their answers when practicing something they're learning, but also their own learning processes. The best way to develop this awareness in students is by asking them to reflect back on their learning and evaluate their own performance, as well as offering opportunities to identify what they already know and where they can continue making progress. Learning principle number 7. Students' current level of development interacts with the social, emotional, and intellectual climate of the course. We must ensure that our lessons are appropriate for the developmental phase of our students, as well as their social and emotional needs. Development here refers not only to the age and maturity of learners, but also how far advanced they are in learning a particular skill. Children should not be asked to behave mature beyond their age, and adults should not be treated like children. At the same time, adults who are in the earliest stages of learning a new skill may fear seeming ridiculous. Learners need to feel comfortable enough in class to experiment and express themselves. When they do not feel that way, the affective filter will stop them from learning. This is when focus and learning are blocked by negative emotions. A supportive learning environment, on the other hand, enables students to take risks, make mistakes, and build the trust needed to ask for help. Here are the references used for this text.